part. Scrum at a glance. So as of now, whatever we were discussing, these were about agile. So if you are doing PSM 1 or 2 and PSPO 1 and 2 exam, basically any scrum.org exam, the material before this slide will be of less use from exam perspective. But it will help you in understanding what is agile. So why I have this material until now is so that you can understand what is agile and agile framework. But from various agile scrum.org exam perspective, whatever we have discussed till this slide, that is of uh, less use because there will be less questions up to this slide on scrum.org exam. But from next slide onwards, they this slide onward, everything is from Scrum guide, official Scrum guide. So if you are preparing for any scrum.org exam, basically this there will be more questions from this slide onwards. So yeah, so this is the point I wanted to highlight. So in this section, basically what we are going to do is we'll cover what is Scrum at a glance. We'll start with the definition of Scrum. Then we'll go through a high level overview of Scrum framework. Then we'll go through the various artifacts and their corresponding commitment within Scrum. So these are the three things we are going to cover in this section. Let's go through the definition of Scrum. So Scrum, basically it's a lightweight framework, right? And please remember, this question. I mean, this is an important point which can which can come in various exams. That Scrum is a framework, not a methodology. So remember that it's a framework. It's not a methodology. Okay, and it's a lightweight framework. So and even when if you are appearing for any interview or you're talking to people, remember to use the word Scrum as a framework. Basically it's not a methodology, so remember that thing basically. So Scrum is a lightweight framework. Why they are saying it light? Because it have like a few set of rules, artifacts, roles, all that. Basically, it's not having a lot of material. It's basically lightweight in terms of what they are suggesting is lightweight. Uh, uh, which and Scrum is a lightweight framework which help people, team, and organization generate value through adaptive solution for complex problem. So it's a framework which can be implemented in any product context. Product, if you're developing a product or service, can be implemented in any of those contexts. And what it does is basically helps the teams or people or organization who are developing a product or service. They help them in generating the value through adaptive solutions and for complex problems. So if you are working on solving a complex problem, right, then you need Scrum. If you are doing something very simple, then you might not need Scrum. Why? Because when we are working on complex problem, lot of things are unknown. We don't know upfront what is going to be the solution, the exact solution of this problem. And in those kind of scenario, what Scrum offers you is you start working on a problem. Then you, let's say, you come up with a hypothesis, you start delivering that hypothesis, and then you deliver that hypothesis to customer, and you let the customer test this MVP to give you feedback, and you use that feedback to adapt your solution uh, to the customer feedback. So basically when you are doing complex problem, you don't know what is actually the solution. And Scrum, what it does, it gives you the opportunity to discover that problem while you are actually building the product, and then again adapt your solution according to the to the problem as you move more and more closer towards the final product. So that's the idea being conveyed here. Then what is basically Scrum requires? It requires a person, which is basically a Scrum Master, to foster an environment um, where a person who is basically a product owner, who orders the work for a complex problem into product backlog, and the Scrum team, which turns the selection of work into an increment of value, and the Scrum team and its stakeholders inspect the results and adjust in the next sprint, and then these steps are repeated. So what is happening here? Basically, for implementing Scrum or for working in Scrum, what you need is a person who is known as Scrum Master. And what the Scrum Master does is he fosters an environment where various people can collaborate. And who are those people who are collaborating in this environment? There are two set of people. One is product owner, then you have the Scrum team. So these two set of people or accountabilities, these three set of people or accountabilities, Scrum Master, product owner, and Scrum team, they work together to build complex product, to build a complex product. And what is the role of product owner? He orders the product backlog uh, uh, in a way so that the maximum value can be delivered to the customer early. That's what a product owner does. And then Scrum team, what the Scrum team does is basically once the product backlog is developed, then a sprint planning meeting is held, and in this sprint planning meeting, the Scrum team decides what they are going to do in this particular sprint, and the PBIs or the items they are going to do in this particular sprint becomes sprint backlog. So the Scrum team basically they work on a selection of work from this product backlog, which is also called as sprint backlog. And what they do is they do all these activities which are, they design, implement, and test the the features they are building, and then they ultimately deliver the product increment to the customer during a sprint. That's what the Scrum team do. And the Scrum team, after they have built this increment, the Scrum team have built this product increment. What they do is they work with the Scrum team work with the stakeholders to inspect the results. Results are basically nothing but the product increment which is built by the team. So the Scrum team and the stakeholder inspect the product which is built during the sprint, and during the inspection they might find some kind of shortcomings or some kind of problem in the product which they have built, and they implement those learnings from this inspection into the product in the next sprint. And these steps are repeated again and again, sprint after sprint. So all these steps are repeated in every cycle, sprint after sprint.